The title of the novel, A Grain of Wheat, is not self-explanatory and needs clarification. There are many symbols and metaphors that we must consider before analyzing the title of this novel. However, the title, A Grain of Wheat, carries much significance because of the metaphors that the writer uses indirectly. From the themes in A Grain of Wheat and the incidents, different symbols may be obtained from the novel. In simple terms, the grain of wheat indirectly refers to the struggles and sacrifices that many individuals made voluntarily in order to become an independent nation. Apart from that, some indirect biblical allusions are also there. However, the fact that has been mentioned in the Bible is also a natural phenomenon. It should be remembered that a single grain of wheat must be sown into the ground to produce a bountiful harvest. It means that in order to get something fruitful, sacrifice is necessary. Thus, in biblical terms, sacrifice is the main theme that the title of the novel suggests. There are many incidents in the novel that support this idea. Almost every character struggles for the freedom of his country. Everyone makes difficult choices and sacrifices something in order to create a better future for himself, as well as for his fellow men. Title and setting of the novel. The novel shows how the people of Kenya fought against British colonialism. It was the result of their struggles that Kenya got rid of British colonial rule. The people wanted to build a new society for them. They wanted to live a life while following their tradition. Their primary demands were equality and justice. Ultimately, they remained successful in achieving the same. The title, A Grain of Wheat, becomes a symbol of the significance of hope and renewal in this context. There was a possibility for the people to build a new system for themselves. They struggled for it and ultimately succeeded. It goes without saying that the novel represents transformation and growth. However, growth is not possible without making difficult and painful decisions. In other words, the process of change is always painful. The title, A Grain of Wheat, also clarifies that every individual has to make all-out efforts in order to create something better for himself and his people. One of the main themes in this regard that the writer portrays in the novel is self-determination. The other things that the writer requires from the people are commitment and sacrifices. There is no denying the fact that the title, A Grain of Wheat, covers many important themes of the novel, hence, it has much significance. The title reveals the struggle for independence, the legacy of colonialism, and the power of individual and collective action to effect change. The symbol of grain. Indeed, grain symbolizes sacrifice, rebirth, change, growth and development throughout the novel. The purpose of the Mau Mau movement was rebirth, change, growth and development for Kenya. Ultimately, the people of Kenya gained freedom, but the novel suggests that everything is subject to sacrifice and a willingness to endure hardship. It is pertinent to observe here that only physical sacrifice is not necessary. In order to achieve a greater good, many sacrifices are involved, including physical violence, giving up personal ambitions, and making hard decisions. The grain in the title also represents the potential for new beginnings and the possibility of a better future besides sacrifices. The symbol of wheat. On the other hand, the wheat is a powerful symbol of getting rid of the destructive forces of colonialism. It covers all the significant themes of violence, betrayal and suffering. In Kenya, wheat is a primary crop. It ends poverty when people harvest it. Thus, wheat represents the end of colonialism. Apart from that, wheat also symbolizes new beginnings. The writer willingly uses it to show that the future may be more prosperous. For those people about whom the writer talks, the future becomes good to some extent at the end of the novel. Nonetheless, it was not perfect because they faced many other problems, including corruption, poverty and mismanagement in New Kenya. The main purpose of using the word wheat is that colonialism had disrupted traditional farming practices, while creating something that was entirely against the norms of those people. In this way, there was no economic development for the people. The law in respect of building new settlements disrupted the whole system. Thus, the wheat represents the disrupted system, structural inequalities, and environmental degradation due to colonialism. These were the main reasons why the people wanted to get rid of the unfavorable system. Economic development was necessary for the survival of those people. It is only possible in case all the individuals play their respective parts. Conclusion. The writer of the novel, Ngũgĩ, uses the wheat and grain as metaphors to describe the sufferings of the people and the hurdles that they face on their way to get freedom from the colonial rules. The writer also talks about the impact of colonialism and the struggles of people for gaining independence with the help of their self-determination.